Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to talk about The Walking Dead. That's right, guys. Now, the events that happened had to do with Sunday night's episode. This is Season 6, Episode 11, otherwise known of Knots Untied. So, what I'm doing this time around when it comes to this Walking Dead video is I'm going to do a comparison between the story arc that's going on in the TV show and the story arc that went on in the comic books at this particular point in time. In last night's episode, we get to see the plot unfold when it comes to Jesus and his community. We get to meet his leader. We get to meet some of his people. We get to see some of the trust issues that's going on. And we also get to see Maggie really shine in this episode as a leader that she is potentially, which I think is going to be in the Hilltop. Now, if you ever read the comics, then you know kind of what's going on. But if you haven't read the comics, this is what has happened so far in this actual story arc, and I love doing these comparison videos. In the Walking Dead comic series, the story arc is otherwise known as A Larger World, and it takes place in issues number 93, 94, 95, and 96. In issues number 93 and 94, we actually get an introduction to Jesus, which we've seen last week. So that's what took place in these two issues, and things were a little bit different here. You know, they didn't meet at the general store. You know, they wound up seeing Jesus was actually searching for them, and we wound up seeing that Rick and the crew actually take Jesus hostage because they didn't trust him. So they had a lot of trust issues here. So this story arc in general, at least these first two issues, had to deal with trust and Rick learning to trust everybody else because he's had such bad luck in the past. Now, in issues number 95 and 96 of The Walking Dead, it has to deal with what happened in last night's episode. So again, if you haven't seen this and if you don't want things potentially spoiled, please watch that episode. And if you haven't read the books and you don't want anything spoiled, read these copies first. But I love doing these comparison videos to see what all those little changes are. So we go into issues number 95 here, and we wind up seeing that Jesus and Rick and the group are wind up taking the van over to the Hilltop. And the cool thing that happened in this episode, which I thought was kind of cool, is that we get to see different members of the group go. If you watched last night's episode, we saw that Carl, he didn't go in this particular episode, but here he does go. He actually sneaks into the van to go and meet these new people at the Hilltop. And in this episode, yes, of course, you get to see that Hilltop for the first time, and as they get their way there, they fight a few zombies. You meet the guards just like it did in the actual show, which I thought was really cool. And you get to see that scene that you saw in the show, as well as you get to see the Barrington house, and you get to see how the community works with each other, which I thought was really awesome. Here we meet Gregory for the first time, and there's a lot of lines that were taken from the comic book that were said into the show. And Gregory's character was very much Gregory in the show, as well, as he's mixing up people's names. Like, instead of Rick doing the talking, Maggie did the talking to Gregory in the actual episode of The Walking Dead. But Gregory would call Maggie Nagy or some other weird name, or Nicole or something like that. But in the comic, he would call Rick Nick. So it's just funny seeing all those little different things that was going on in this actual issue. Same thing that happened in this episode is you wind up seeing Gregory getting stabbed. And we wind up seeing that Ethan winds up getting killed, and the same way he winds up getting his neck sliced by Rick, and we get to see the blood pouring all over him, and it was really awesome. And then after, when that happens, Rick gets up and is like, "What?" And that's really what happened in the episode. So I thought that was really, really close to the comic book. I thought that was really awesome. But again, Maggie doesn't make her appearance in this issue. She is not the one negotiating. Rick makes the negotiations. And the thing that I think is really neat is that the reason why they did this is because they want to develop Maggie's character a little bit more and show that she will be a leader, that she is a natural leader, and that also that they're fighting for something to protect, and that is Maggie's unborn baby. So I thought that was really cool, and I like seeing those little changes. In issue number 96, it continues that from what we last left off, where we left off in the actual episode. We see that Rick and his group wind up making a deal with Gregory in this issue. And pretty much everything in here was pretty close to being the same, but they focused again on the trust issues. We had a scene in the comic book where they were having a funeral for Ethan, the man that died, and Rick winds up getting punched out because the people don't trust him, which was not in the episode either. The one difference that is in here is that we don't have the relationship as well with Michonne and Rick. We have the relationship with Rick and Andrea at this time, but Michonne is part of this group. In this issue, we see Rick making negotiations with Gregory in here about taking care of Negan's men and saying that they want supplies, where in the actual episode we wind up getting to see Maggie, who is making those negotiations again with Gregory, demanding on half of all their stuff, but just this one time, not like how Negan is taking things the entire time. The one difference too is that Rick is going to kill Negan with his people and recover the person's name, and the person's name in the show I think is Craig or Greg, and the person that's in here that's different is a female, and I forgot her actual name, but so they're going to rescue female in the comics, so that's another thing that was a little bit different. And then at the end of this particular issue, which we don't really see at the end, is Rick giving a speech, seeing that he can see the entire world, and he's saying that it's about time that we stop living or fearing the world and start living. So that was a little bit of a difference in the comic than in the TV show as well. But again, this one had to deal with Rick trying to see a larger world, start living again, having a lot of trust issues, and the other thing that had to do within the TV show, where it had to do with really fleshing out Maggie's character, making her that leadership role, protecting what's coming in the future, and that is their baby. So I love seeing those little differences between the comic book and the show. I thought it was really, really awesome. So overall, the episode may have been a little bit slower, but it was a really good plot developing episode, and I really enjoyed it. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this little bit of a comparison video, seeing what cast members were in the comic compared to the actual TV show, the little things that were different. And guys, hopefully you enjoyed this, and fans, until that next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off, and I'll see you guys real soon. Take care, fans. Bye.